Man City have paid none of us to win any of these awards.
115 charges award.
Yeah.
Like
What about we'll call it the 115 Club. 115 Club Awards.
I like it.
Leave that bit in, Dylan. That's your trailer right there.
Start. Here we go, episode 19. George has joined us again, and we've got Dillsy's back, and I've got my cousin Sean, so it's a four people episode today. And the Premier League season's just come to an end. What did everyone think of the last games of the season?
Completely unpredictable. Completely predictable. I don't think it was very exciting at all for anyone.
No.
I'm just happy. There was only one result that I was shocked with, but hey, I'm happy with it.
What result was that?
Palace winning 5-0 against Villa.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Villa probably dropped off.
Oh yeah,
probably because they won Champions League in the week. Secured
it was 5-0. It was a bit mad.
Apparently, McGinn was like out and about in the town, so I don't think they really cared too much about that last game.
Birmingham's got some really good nightlife as well. Broad Street, Arcadia. There's some great clubs in Birmingham.
Yeah, but that was in Palace. This was in Croydon.
Oh, they went out in Croydon. Fucking hell.
Well done, Palace.
Amazing to him.
Yeah, Mateta with a hat trick. Eze with 2. Surely
Eze's class.
Some clubs are going to be looking at those players.
Elise and Eze. Good luck to Palace holding on to them too. That's all. I think Man United get Elise.
I think is he a United fan? I don't want to say that statement and it be incorrect, but I think he's a United fan.
He's an ex-Chelsea academy player as well, typically.
Well, that's like Mason Mount, isn't it? He's a United fan.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. We will talk more about him later.
Okay. Yeah. But 5-0 Palace, probably the shock of the day, I think, on that result. And then obviously we'll do the title one last because I guess people got things to say on that one. But United beat Brighton 2-0. I was surprised by this. Dalot and Højlund getting some 2 second half goals.
Go on.
I feel like you've got to say yes to that. It's a bit surprising, but at the same time, I think Brighton ain't got nothing to fight for. You lot have still got a game to play, so obviously you've got to keep as sharp as possible for next week.
Yeah, Zerbi obviously leaving in the week as well.
That was a shocker. I will say that. I feel like that was a shocker. God knows where he's going to go. Who knows yet? It's just I could see him going to Italy to manage someone else, but maybe Bologna because now they've got Champions League football with Thiago Motta going to Juventus. It looks like that's imminent.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing with Brighton. They started up with a lot of excitement around them. They got a new guy in, and now come towards the end of the season, they've gone out like a fart in the wind. They've not. De Zerbi announcing that he's going has sort of created a flatness that you can tell around the players and the club. Yeah, and it's completely different to where they were at the start of the season, where everyone was very excited for them. So it's a shame for the Brighton fans. But it's the money of football that's just showing how it can sometimes ruin the game because someone has obviously said to De Zerbi, "Oh look, there's a job here for you, mate. Come and get it." I think that might be Munich, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a UK team. Got a feeling that Ten Hag will probably be at United next year, so I imagine we'll probably see De Zerbi pop up at like Munich or elsewhere.
My money's on Tuchel going to United.
Do you reckon it's going to happen? Do you reckon he'll
He wants to come back to the Prem as much as I would love. If Poch does decide, I want to keep Poch for start. Let's just say that straight away. I want him to stay, but if he goes, there's only one person in my eyes I would want. That's Tuchel.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we keep Poch, I think Tuchel will come back to the Prem, and that'll be probably United's probably the most appealing project to have.
Yeah, it seems like there's a real flatness with if you look at the transfer market for out and out strikers and managers, like good ones at the moment, like number 9s and managers are as rare as rocking horse shit. Like you can't get hold of like 9s. If you think about like Erling Haaland, he's an out and out 9. Kane's an out and out 9, and Kane was hot property last year, yet he was 30. So it's a bit the same with the manager market. There isn't actually anyone out there. Like 6 or 7 years ago, if Mourinho was free, everyone would be saying Mourinho's name for a job.
Yeah,
It doesn't have that feel to it at the moment.
I think there's like a lack of defenders as well. I saw the stat today, the most goals ever in a Premier League season this season, and that even beats the 42 game seasons earlier on in Premier League history. So
I saw that as well.
I do agree with you on that. Definitely has. I think defensive. It might have been the attackers. I personally don't see any improvement with attackers when you see players like Anthony or who else is there? There's
Madueke.
Well, he scored more than Anthony, to say the least, didn't he? So no. There's a few other players like.
How many goals Jackson got this year? That's not a joke or anything. I'm genuinely interested.
Jackson scored what in all comps or just the league itself?
All comps and league, if you know both.
So
you're just showing off for your stats.
in the league, he got an impressive first season stats of 14 goals and 5 assists in the league alone.
That's decent.
Better than Drogba's first season.
Is he better than Drogba?
I'm not going to say nothing yet because he's only 22 years old.
Just I love when
imagine
people do
that. Clip that.
Yeah, I'm not letting you have any receipts on me, boys. I'm not going to say better. He's had a better first season than what Drogba did, considering that he's the only striker that we had throughout the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, my standout performer is Cole Palmer, but
obviously, yeah.
But yeah, coming back to it, I just feel like there's a real lack of talent in the transfer market. So someone like the Zerbi, that was an up-and-coming manager, he might land a rather big job this summer. I think it is most likely going to be that Munich job.
Is Xavi still staying at Barcelona? Because there was a rumour that he's getting sacked.
Yeah, didn't the football start to improve at some point recently? I have to admit I haven't seen the results.
Yeah, I thought he was staying. I didn't hear anything else.
I've seen it somewhere that he was going to get sacked, but I'm not saying he is. But I thought it's just the typical Insta gospel nonsense that comes out. You're just like, okay, it stayed in the back of my head because I was thinking I did thought the Zerbi would be perfect for Barcelona.
Yeah, that's the style, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've sidetracked. Let's go back to the final day. Spurs won 3-0.
Fuck them.
Liverpool deals 2-0. Klopps last game.
Yeah.
Emotional times for you?
Yeah, it was sad times. I might stop watching football now because I don't know what's going to happen next season with us.
He's got Arne Slot coming in. What do you think of him?
Well, I saw a video on the sort of style he plays, and I don't know how accurate this is, but they were saying his style of play is like the pressing of Klopp, the passing of Guardiola, the defending of Arteta. So I was like, is he the best manager in the world then? I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest.
He gives me Ten Hag vibes. Sorry, but just a bald Dutch manager coming in.
Yeah.
It would be interesting.
Am I right in thinking that Arne Slot's a part of the whole Salzburg, Ralph Rangnick, Red Bull crop of coaches?
Oh, jeez.
Sure.
Is he?
Well, that's where Klopp and Tuchel come from. They also part of that Gegenpress school of thought.
I think he does model his football around like Klopp, Guardiola, that sort of thing on the attack. So maybe he could be.
And what do you think of Salah? Do you think he'll leave in the summer, same as Van Dijk?
I don't think Van Dijk will leave. I think Salah. I think if we get a ridiculous offer from Saudi, then he'll probably go. It's mad saying that he's had a bad season when he scored 18 goals in the league, and that's a bad season for him. So,
that just shows you how sport you were with him.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know what we had.
Oh no, don't worry. I know that feeling. We didn't know what we had when we had him in the first place.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough job, but I think the track record from Slots at was it a final before? He's like quite good at bringing the youth through and like playing like good attacking football. So hope it's sort of like a like for Klopp in the way that he manages, like with a small budget, bringing youth players through. So there might not be too much to change in the way we play, but I guess we'll see next season.
Yeah, it'd be definitely interesting. See how you get on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fulham beat Luton 4-2. Luton go down. Obviously, I think they kind of went down last week. Had a real outside chance to stay up, but yeah, good effort I think from Luton overall, depending on how much money they've got.
This was a bonus year for them.
Yeah.
They didn't plan on going up this early.
I think they would get. I think they come back. I think they will bounce back up. They look really. I'd give them credit, Luton, all season. Like they had some results where it weren't justified that they should have lost some games.
Yeah, I agree. With that.
I think Barkley's done well for him, haven't they?
Oh, he was. You know what? If they stayed up and that, he probably would be a potential candidate to be in the Euros. I wouldn't say he would get in it, but he would have been possible.
Yeah, with the 26-man squads now,
he's going to be a great. He's going to be a great signing for someone this summer.
I think he might give Luton a chance to stay on.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I think he might.
I'm saying, do you think he'll go back to Everton?
I think he's got a bit of a falling out with Everton now after what happened.
Oh, right.
I can see him going back.
That French club he was at previously, was it the same club that
Jim Ratcliffe owned? Yes.
Yeah.
OCG Nice, yeah.
Yeah. Well, could he do a job at United?
Well, if Southgate takes over, you're going to get Henderson in, so it's no point.
This is true. Does he get in the squad over Milner and Henderson?
No chance.
Oh yeah. Other games, Burnley lost to Forest 2-1, who stay up, and then Chelsea as well 2-1. Big game for you at the end of the year.
Yeah. Now we got that potential European spot at least. Either depending on what next week's MFA Cup result is. Cracking goal by Caicedo, I will definitely say that. That was the longest, furthest goal in 7 years in the Premier League. That is now.
Oh, good stat.
Wow.
I heard that earlier when I was watching the game.
Yeah, George, you've been prepared this week, haven't you?
I like it.
Yeah, I was trying to find a notepad earlier, but I just typed it. I just had it. I was listening to the commentators and they were saying it was the first time in 7 years that a goal has been scored from that far out.
How far out was it? I haven't seen the highlights yet.
49 meters.
Is that like the Charlie Adams goal back in the day?
Yeah, I think the last person. Don't hold me to it. I think it was Rooney that scored the furthest.
Oh, for Everton as well.
Everton, yeah.
Yes, that was the last time. I'm not 100%. It might be Charlie Adams one, but I can't remember that far back.
Am I wrong that didn't John Joe Shelby score a long range one as well?
Yeah.
No, that was a Voldemort playing Quidditch. Sorry,
Sorry. Anyway, we're going for the two games that determined the title. Arsenal with the win, 88th minute winner to beat Everton 2-1. And then obviously Man City winning 3-1 to win the title, especially with the 115 charges still looming for the last 18 months. They've decided to continue the Premier League, but yeah.
Yeah, when is Pep going to leave City? Seriously.
Why would he?
We feel now.
When the independent regulators get involved with football.
Exactly.
I've got a bit that I want to talk about on that in a bit, but like those last two games, it was very predictable and it was boring. And yeah, I feel sorry for Arsenal fans because they've come so far and they're doing great work, but they just can't get past the machine that is City. But on those last two games, got to give credit to Sean Dyche and Everton. Like their league position isn't reflective to how they've been playing this year. Obviously, they've had the points reduction put on them.
Yeah.
but he's someone that was sort of joked about, the way the 4-4-2 Brexit football, but he did that I think he did the coach mastermind video just before he joined Everton. He spoke about the what he tries to do with teams, etc. And he's got a lot more knowledge than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Obviously, some people give him credit. That's why he's a manager of a Premier League team. But yeah, to make Arsenal like push them to the 88th minute to get a winning goal with the team that he's got. Fair play to him.
Oh yeah, definitely. He definitely knows the dark arts of Premier League football in that side of things. But like, you think about it, the year that he left Burnley was the year that Burnley further on got relegated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
says it all. He's a guy that's all about structure and the way that positioning, structure, solidarity, where everyone will just stick to the role and get the job done.
Yeah,
and that's what, like, teams like Stoke, when Tony Pulis was there, that's what they thrived on. Was that they just got the job done, and that's, I hate that sort of football, but you're gonna have teams like that because that's how they make the money, because they need to stay up.
I don't. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I think it's a little bit harsh to say they just like. He was definitely that way with Burnley, like get the job done sort of football. But I feel like with the Everton team, he's maybe been allowed to be a tiny bit more expansive. But
yeah, I think so.
You can only play what's in front of you, I guess. So yeah, you have to be pragmatic and negative sometimes, I guess.
No, I think you're right. I think he's definitely. I know he's got more, say, better players at Everton than he had at Burnley.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
He can, help their recruitment a bit, because recently the Everton recruitment's not been great. So with him on the recruitment team, he might be a bit better.
I suppose it does help that he's a top shithouse, so he does wind people up. And like, I remember going to a Wolves versus Burnley game when he was the manager, and just like everything was so delayed. Like there must have been probably only a half an hour of football being played, but they knew exactly. They went there to get a draw, and yeah, it was get the job done sort of thing. But he's good at it. I look forward to seeing how he gets on next year if Everton are allowed to spend, some money. But it seems like the Premier League have only got like enough resources to come down on teams like them and Forest at the moment.
Well, and Leicester as well for next year, aren't they? They're getting a points deduction.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, they are actually. Start of the season, apparently they're getting the point deduction.
They didn't hand their books in on time.
Well, they probably did it on purpose so they didn't lose out getting promoted, because at least now they're going to get 100 million promotion bonus.
It's a bit like, do you remember when you was at school and there's that one kid that probably like set someone's car on fire, smashed? He's probably done 115 bad things, right? But then you're that kid that didn't hand your homework in that one time, yet your parents are the ones that are coming in. Do you ever feel like, do you see where I'm coming from with that? Like, I kind of feel sorry for him, because there's that really naughty kid that's done at least 115 things and no one's looking into him. Or it sounds like he's getting away with it because his daddy's rich and foreign.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Going on about that.
Yeah.
That Tuesday game, Spurs v Man City, for me, was probably one of the worst or like darkest days of Premier League football, in my opinion. You've got both sets of fans supporting one team that has 115 charges, and it was just terrible. The Spurs fans.
I understand why Spurs fans could be like that, but at the same time, even I would, if I had a choice to, as a Chelsea fan, if we had to play a team, and like, bearing in mind, I would rather see Tottenham win the league and us get top 4, if that's the case, because it's better for us in that sort of stance.
Exactly.
And then
they're saying about a club that's not even there. They're not even playing. No, like, how much you want to be out of their shadow? Spurs, Arsenal shadow.
Yeah. Song should have went around the keeper. Don't know what the hell he was thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like as well when you see all this. Like, you remember how last episode we were talking about the Poznan?
Yeah.
You had Spurs fans doing the Poznan with the City fans.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
I'm not even Spurs or
And
City fan.
and you know what? And you had Big Ange, as I like Ange. I do like him.
I like him.
But I liked how he was literally arguing with a fan near the dugout. He was literally telling them, I know who you are, watch out.
Yeah, he's embarrassing.
You know what? Fair play to him, because in the end of the day, he wants to get the result.
Well, I feel like with football, and it's probably been happening for the last 30, 40 years, as consumerism has been seeping into the game, people have started creating these false narratives that they should do, like as fans, this is what we do this, we do that. And when real tragic events happen, like for example when Cristiano Ronaldo lost his child, and you saw all the different football clubs at 7 minutes in a sign of solidarity give that man an applause. Liverpool quite famously sung "You'll Never Walk Alone" on the 7th minute, and stuff like that. When it's big enough football, you see fans come together. I think it's brilliant. But when you see fans trying to play up to these rivalries, and the reason why I say this is because years ago, I hear it from a lot from my grandparents. If you lived in London and one team was playing at home and you had a couple of quid spare or whatever, you go and watch that team, or you'd go and watch any football you could, and there's a chance to see players represent that club, even though you probably supported your own club anyway. But you didn't just all of a sudden capitulate to another team. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I'm angry because it feels like there's a lack of integrity in these modern fans. It feels like they're just a bunch of FIFA players that read what they see on the internet and then they act it out in the stadiums, and they've got no integrity to them as football fans. They're just consumerists.
I see where you're coming from.
That's my little rant. It really annoys me. It irks me,
I do feel bad for Arsenal, but in the end of the day, there's 5 games that they lost, so that just makes the difference for them. So in the end of the day, Arsenal fans can moan about Tottenham not doing this, but in the end of the day, there's only one man that they could actually moan about, and it's Unai Emery, because them 2 games is the reason why they didn't win the league.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got no issue with the result.
Yeah. But is it the mannerism behind it?
It's just the behaviour of the Tottenham fans to actually be cheering on another team's demise instead of just...
You know what? Just the fact that you're paying that money to go and watch your team play and you're cheering for the other team. Yeah, I could not do that.
Like they were singing as well, stand up if you're on Arsenal. Arsenal not even playing this in the game. So how much in the shadow do you want to be in Arsenal?
You know what? I can't say anything because at Stamford Bridge, we stand up if we hate Tottenham, even if Tottenham are not even there.
Yeah, no, that's banter.
We just hate them.
Yeah, but the whole, I don't know, just celebrating your team not winning is a new low to me. And to do it in front of a manager that's giving you so much to your club.
And I feel like Ange wants to be there in the long run, but and the fact that even after the game he said that the club's fragile inside and outside.
He wasn't happy, was he?
That just says it all. And
and they compared that with Mourinho and Conte's quotes about when they left Tottenham, and Mourinho's famous press conference where he said, "I have a connection and a history with all of my ex-clubs. Apart from Tottenham, I don't feel anything for them." I believe Conte said something very similar.
I think he didn't even say Tottenham. He was at that Daniel Levy club or Daniel Levy club.
Yeah, it's Daniel Levy that's probably the issue there.
Fantastic businessman. He's got another sports league to actually build his stadium pretty much as in the NFL. He's contributed a lot to the construction to arguably the greatest stadium in the UK right now. But I feel like he's not very good for...
I'm just going to say this. The greatest stadium now is that nice waterfall one up north.
Anyway,
it can't be that good. You don't know the
name. Yeah, that needs a sudden repair, that one. And we put a short on, and some of the clips were, "Where's the waterfall?" and stuff like that, with the comments.
What they said it was like the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah.
It's just it's like a futuristic cooling system for the summer.
Yeah.
So next season, we've got clubs going to do the vote about VAR this week.
Oh,
What is your thoughts on that? Do you think VAR should stay? Do you think it should be gone? I know, Sean, you've got some opinion about Wolves. So go ahead, mate.
Yeah, I live in the Midlands, and my best friend is a Wolves fan. His family are Wolves fans, and they've just got this weird victim mentality. That's Wolves fans as a whole, because say for example United have a loss or something goes like bad for United, you're expecting banter from Liverpool fans or Arsenal fans, because there's a bit of a history there between the clubs, or City fans. But no, like Wolves fans, they revel in successful clubs' demises, and they feel so hard done by VAR. And it's like, oh, everyone's picking on us, and it's truly tragic. But at the same time, yeah, I guess they have probably had some bad results due to VAR. But yeah, I just think a lot of these errors that happen in the football and the ambiguity that comes with these decisions would be cleared up with an independent regulator. But I'll come back onto it in a sec.
I think you can't get rid of VAR now. However, the way it's implemented is wrong. And like you watch the clips and stuff. I think I've spoke to you about this deals before. Like, it's just chaotic, isn't it? When you listen to the clips, it's just like constant chatter of like unnecessary garbage, really. Of like, oh, check this decision or handball there or something like that. And it's just like, let's just calm down a bit. Give the power back to the referee. If he wants a decision checked because he's unsure about it, he will ask his VAR assistant. Don't have VAR checking every single thing. If he's unsure or one of the linesmen are unsure on this decision they've just done, that's when they should be implemented, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I don't want to talk too much because I feel like I'm talking a lot, and I'm sorry, lads. But do you guys ever watch any rugby?
I know where you're going with this one. Is this about when you could hear them talk?
Yeah. Also, equally, like
The way they talk
only
about
certain
it.
players are allowed to talk to a rugby referee, i.e., like maybe the fly off and the captain, or mainly it's only the captain, but only so many people can talk to the referee at once, and they normally have to approach him with the word "sir." Now, my first Sunday League game, I played rugby for the majority of my life. I played Sunday League, and the referee blew up for something, and I said, "Oh, what was that for, sir?" And he said, "You taking the piss, calling me sir?" And that was the referee talking to me, and he thought I was being patronising, and that's like it's just a completely different mentality. So yeah, rugby mics up the refs, and I think that gives you a twofold thing. You get you get to hear what the actual conversation is live, and you also get to hear how the rugby players and the rugby referee communicate with each other. See, if you turn around and said football, listen, we are miking up referees next year. Any foul language, and it's like instant dismissal, suspended for quite a big suspension, because this is a live broadcast. We can't afford to have you swearing at the referee or screaming and shouting when something bad goes wrong. But equally, it also teaches referees to communicate better with the players, because I think some of them communicate and they look so arrogant, like your Mike Deans and whatnot. Like, it is a two-way street. I feel like football referees could do a lot better job, and so like the players can also be more polite as well. That's just my thoughts on that one.
I definitely think they should be. They can sort of tell their point of view on why they made that decision sometimes. But like you could just sometimes see football referees, like just go away, not speaking to you. So like that. It's just like, well, come on, explain your decision. I remember Kalina, he used to explain his decisions, didn't he?
Yeah, with
He's
confidence.
Yeah, he's the best ref of all time.
But then he had like command and authority over the players, whereas I feel like some of these refs in the Premier League just get walked all over. happy to take the shit. And I'm like, just you're meant to be in control of the game. Like when things get heated, you're meant to be the one sort of keeping the peace and like controlling the players, not letting the players just shout and scream at you.
I think the media don't help that. So like, you know, when Robertson got in that linesman's face, and then the linesman actually pushed back at him, and then it's like straight away on Sky Sports, like, oh, linesman's touched Robertson. Oh, he's not going to be officiating next weekend. All that stuff. It's like, well, Robertson's in his face.
Yeah. Like so they're saying that if someone's just screaming and shouting in their face, they're just not going to do anything. They're not going to like do something back to them.
Well, they were planning to put blue cards in, remember, for dissent.
Oh yeah. What happens to that?
So they scrapped it because I agree. Don't, if you're gonna just give him a bloody yellow card and say, if you talk to me like that one more time, you're off. That's it.
Yeah, it has to be done. Or it's like if it's not the captain speaking to the ref, then like the player can go over to the captain, explain his point of view, then the captain will go to the ref. It might slow down the game a bit, but then you've got a bit more control, and then they can say if anyone other than the captain like is screaming and shouting at the ref, it's just instant yellow.
I just think sometimes they just do things half-assed at the PGMOL. It's like, do you remember at the start of the season where they really wanted to clamp down on time wasting? They were giving out yellow cards like anything, and then after like 4 games, it just went back to normal. It's like, why implement that in the first place if you're just gonna just have it go away slowly? It was like a little threat of a warning, and then it went.
That's the thing with it's interesting that all these conversations we're having tonight, in my head, it's always going back to a regulating body, because the PGMOL, who runs it? What organisation is it attached to?
I thought Howard Webb runs it.
Yeah,
says it all.
Well, it's it's not attached to a governing body as such. I don't think it's its own body, and I think it might even be. Don't quote me on this, but it might be in an umbrella with the Premier League itself. So, if you've got these companies that are, a lot of money is available in the Premier League, we all know that. Yet the people that are refereeing the games and the league itself regulate themselves, well, that stinks to me. But yeah, I will talk about that in a sec. I don't know. I keep saying that. I don't know when we are talking about it. Are we talking about it? Is it in the flat?
We're talking about it now, Sean. Come on.
Yeah, okay. So football, especially the Premier League, I think it's responsible for around about, I think it was about 73. It's about £6 billion towards the economy. I think it's about 94,000, 100,000 jobs. It's a massive industry, and if we look at it as an export, it's a huge export to the UK economy. And any other business, any other industry that is responsible for people's livelihoods, jobs, has an impact on the economy, is regulated. Arguably, it's not always regulated the best, but it's regulated. And the Premier League isn't itself regulated. So there's so much at stake. Yet if it goes wrong, if something is a bit dodgy, ultimately there's not like much of a deterrent to stop it from happening. It's like this case against City, right? 115 charges. It's a lose-lose for the Premier League. If they lose that case, it shows that City somehow have managed to bend the rules and they're more powerful than the Premier League. They bring money for the Premier League. So why would the Premier League go? They're falling to City's will. If the Premier League wins that case against City, it shows that they can't really stop things from happening when they are happening. They need a regulatory body.
And their product's been corrupt for the last few years.
Exactly. Like all that money they've made, how they've excelled compared to the Spanish league, German league, Italian leagues, it'll all be sort of tainted, and that might show depreciation in value. So they're in a bit of a pickle, and that's why I feel like the case is being kept very quiet, under wraps. There's not a lot of leaks coming from it. Let's look at other things in the league. For Christ's sake, Prince Andrew, we found out all about him in Epstein's Island pretty quickly, and he's a royal, and they couldn't cover that up. Yet the Premier League's case against City is a very guarded and shrouded affair. And it's because ultimately there's no winners in that forum. That's why we need an independent body to come in and make sure that the league follows decent procedure and people are responsible. Like there's actual responsibility attached to these jobs and these, so if you mess up, you're gonna get in trouble.
I'm not sure. Like, shouldn't this case be black and white as well? You've done a breach. It's black and white. So you spent over them what you should. So surely they should just be charged. I don't understand why the case is going on. Like, what do they have to defend themselves with? Because they've handed in their financial statements, and it's come up that they've spent more than they should. So it doesn't really make sense why this is being dragged out.
Yeah, like logically, the argument is more one-sided than Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper painting. There's no City don't have a leg to stand on, but it just goes to show that the Premier League is probably not the entity, the force that it thought it was, because it's not winning, is it?
Well, when you think about it, there's 115 charges that they've got to go through individually, right? Where other clubs have probably had far less, like 4 or 5 charges, which could be done quicker. But is it probably because all these charges backdate from like 2013?
It's essentially the way they've
got to really dig through all this, and even then, it's going to be very hard to justify each charge as well. Because if they can't justify, if PGMOL can't or whoever, the FA can't justify each charge, then how many other charges can they justify? That's the way that you've got to look at it. As a law stands, you're innocent until proven guilty. So they're going to have to go through every charge, which is going to take a while as well.
Yeah, of course. Like it's going to take a while to go through that many charges. But like I said, it's the Premier League. They're checking it. They're basically looking at their own homework and marking it. Oh, how good have we done here? Not doing that. How good have we done here? It shows that their product, because they are an independent body to the FA, it shows that their product is tainted. I think that's the big worry, that this will be, and I can see what's going to happen. It's just there's going to be like a little win-win situation where all City have been a little bit naughty, but not as naughty as we made out, and the Premier League looks a little bit silly, but not as silly as everyone thought. And they're going to fight tooth and nail to not get an independent regulator in, and they really do need one, because football, if it ain't fair, what's the point?
Yeah, literally, what is the point of that financial fair play? You might as well scrap it if City get away with it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything, because it looks like our owners are finding every loophole possible to get around that.
But they're doing it in a way where they're sort of going through each of the future years to back them out, so you can't make any transfers. So they're like, we'll pay it next year or the year after the year, or over 8 years. So that's sort of kind of worked its way around it. So technically haven't spent that money yet, but you're going to in the next few years. Yeah,
but it's not just that. It's the dodgy part. The dodgy part is where we've got a company called Blueco, which is owned by Todd Bowley, buying the 2 hotels, buying the training ground now, and we're making that as our passive income. But there's nothing stating that we're not allowed to do that either.
You're on the books, George.
Huh?
You're on the books.
I see that we've just sold Blueco to our part of our training ground to Blueco, and our 2 hotels they've gone to Blueco as well. And it
all stinks. Like, does anyone remember QPR getting a 42 million FFP fine
when they had the Remian and the Redknapp?
Yeah, like 42 million. That's a substantial fine, especially for a club with a stadium that small. And yet we're hearing about Chelsea's owner swapping businesses around to buy different things. It just all feels a little bit inadequate. It's like steroids. Let's give all let's give all of the athletes, like the sprinters, the 100-meter runners, all the steroids they want and all the growth hormone they want, but then let's tell people what they're doing. Or let's not let some people get away with some stuff and penalise others. It just feels like it's right. We've got to be either one way or the other.
But funny you say that, Sean. They're planning to do Olympics where you're allowed to take sports enhancements.
Oh, really?
They are actually looking at doing that, yeah.
I think that would be quite interesting.
So I'm all for watching it. Obviously, it'd be dangerous. I'm not encouraging people to do it, but just to see people go the extra mile just to try and achieve something better.
Yeah, I think the 100-meter time would be 8 seconds.
I remember
5 seconds.
I remember someone at university turned around and said they played some footage of an NFL wide receiver running, and then they showed you how quickly he covered a certain distance. And they turned around and said, there's probably guys in the NFL that are quicker than a lot of the 100 meters professional athletes, but they can't go anywhere near a track in case they get tested.
Oh, geez.
But yeah, what do they call it? The juice games, or?
You know what? I think that is a great business idea to call it the juice games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of 5 rings, it'd be 5 needles.
Yeah. Oh, that's genius. And instead of having like random Chinese betting companies on your shirt, why don't we like actually get the drugs that they're taking like
Random
on the shirt?
dealers.
Yeah. Like, just anabol or something, testosterone. I think that some integrity in that.
Got a new idea there.
I think we're onto something. Even why don't we just start it?
Yeah.
The 2D Sportsbar juice games. Right, let's go on to what we naming the awards? The 115 awards, yeah, for the season.
Yeah, because basically this season shit, it doesn't mean anything. Nothing means anything anymore. Carry on.
So the 115 awards. Manager of the season in the Premier League this season. What's everyone got? So I'll start with you, George, this time. Who have you gone for?
Unai Emery.
Great shout.
I think with Villa, with the players, like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the players are very good players, like Douglas Luiz that I rate. John McGinn's an absolute workhorse, but Ollie Watkins definitely is. And even when I saw Diaby leave Leverkusen to go to Villa, I thought, wow, they are actually going for some absolute pace on the wings now with like Bailey and Diaby and all that. But I think Unai Emery as a manager, like, I actually don't think he had enough time at Arsenal with what he was doing, but it's clearly worked out for Arsenal because look where they are now with Arteta. But I think Emery's done amazing as a coach, and also he's set piece coach as well.
Oh yeah, we said about that last week. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels.
Sexy set piece boy.
I think. Manager of the season. I'm going to just go with Unai Emery for what he's done at Villa. Top 4.
Fair play. Deals. Who have you got?
Yeah, I was going to go for the same manager.
Just Unai as well.
Yeah, just like with the sort of the players that he's brought in, the players that he's improved, like got them up to another level. Just like Villa shouldn't be. I don't know how much they spent, but I doubt they spent anywhere near as much as the teams that they're around. They're still up there, like top 4. It's an unbelievable feat for them.
Who have you got, Sean?
Yeah, because actual sporting performance doesn't matter anymore, seeing as we're just awarding the Premier League to anyone who cheats the best. I'm going for Ange, Big Ange, because I just feel like he is a massive character. He's come in, he hasn't been daunted. I know he's at Celtic, but the Scottish League isn't a touch in the Premier League. And he's come in and he's addressed everything as if he's a natural who's been there for years. I think, yeah, Big Ange. Did he come this season or the season before?
No, he came this season, yeah.
Thank God. Yeah, Big Ange.
I've gone for Arteta because after last season. They sort of dropped away. And I just think this season they've got the best defensive record in the league. They've got the most wins they've ever had as a club in the Premier League this season. And I just think, as well with their resources they've got in their squad, like City, they've got essentially 2 players in each position, or maybe 3, where they've got a bit of a lesser squad, say Arsenal. And I think he's done well and deserved the manager of the month. And he's also got a clean team and a clean club, so that's good.
Yeah. Is he like the non-cheating Pep?
Yeah, I think so. So I think
Fair play.
the true winner of the league this season.
Do we, as a 4 now, have to decide out of those 4 candidates which one we all agree with?
I guess it would be Emery, as he has 2, right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to change your mind, lads, after hearing those fine opinions?
Nah. If you want to say it would be Pep, but I'm saying Emery for what he's done at Villa.
Yeah,
Underdogs, really, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put them in. I would say they were top 6 worthy, not top 4.
yeah, I think what you both said makes sense. So I'll probably go with Emery as well.
Okay, we agree on Emery, manager of the season for the 115 awards. Okay, we move on to player of this season. I'll start with you, Sean.
Start with young player and then lead player for the last one.
I suppose, yeah, could do that. So young player, Sean, who have you got?
So my young player I went with Kobe Mainoo. I know it's cliche because I'm a United fan, but it must be a really hard job to be in the middle of Manchester United's midfield right now.
It seems, at the moment.
He's a homegrown prospect who had an injury at the start of the season. He's at arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world with one of the largest, don't say fan base, but actual viewerships whenever they're playing. There's lots of eyes on them. And he's taken to it like a duck to water. And it's just really impressive to think how young he is and how well he's playing. Yeah, there's still faults to his game. You see him, he gets out-muscled a little bit at the moment. But that'll come as he gets older. That, he'll fill out, he'll get stronger. But yeah, he's a very good footballer.
Yep, I can't disagree with that. Kobe Mainoo, top class. George, who you got?
Oh, I'm gonna just say, like you said, how Mainoo was in that mess of that United midfield. I'm gonna say Cole Palmer because he literally carried us throughout most of this. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I've got him as well.
Literal gem of a player, especially that he's how high he's got. I know that you're not going to say, oh yeah, pen merchant, but hey, still have to put him in the back of the net.
No, I've got Palmer as my young player as well. Just for the goals he scored, assists, and as I said last week, carried your team on his back sometimes throughout the season.
Annoyingly, I've got him as my player of the season, so I'm going to have to quickly think of another player. But yeah,
Deals, who have you got?
Fantastic.
I was going to say Saliba.
Is he a young player, is he?
23.
How old he is?
23.
I guess yeah.
Dylan sounds like Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, but is he mid-20s? Because if so, he's out the list.
What was it? 17 clean sheets, only conceding 28 goals, and he played every minute of every game this season. 61% tackle success.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And defenders don't really get that much praise, do they?
No, they don't. They deserve more. Did he miss a lot of last season with injury?
Yeah, he missed the back end of the season.
So he's coming in after an injury as well. I always think that's impressive when the player gets injured and he's able to hit form afterwards quite quickly.
Yeah, it is.
So, lads, who are we going for? So we got Palmer. Wait, have you got Sean? You got Palmer as well for this one?
Well, no, I did have Mainoo as my young player.
Mainoo.
But Palmer was going to be my player of the season. But for my young player, I agree with, Palmer's been fantastic.
I think Palmer wins it for me. I guess, was that 3 of the votes?
Yeah. I'll go for Palmer.
So our young player of the year for the 115 awards, Cole Palmer. And then the player? So Sean, you said you got Palmer.
Yeah, so yeah, I can't. I'll just
You
go
can-
to someone else.
You can have both. You can have both. For
Yeah, you
Palmer.
can have both.
Look at Gareth Bale won both, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did it, well, yeah, Cole Palmer, and it's all those reasons we just heard. Chelsea, when Poch came in, everyone was slagging them off. They weren't very. They had some moments where they were truly awful. And all of a sudden, this kid started kicking on, Cole Palmer, like a lad that left City. And also, that takes some bollocks to turn around and say to Pep Guardiola and City that either play me or let me go. So all of a sudden, he's showing he's assertive and he's got something about him. He's come to Chelsea, he's hit the ground running, he's been great. He's able to ignore the noise, even when it's his own teammates asking to take penalties. So Palmer, for me, has been probably player of the season because he's influenced the most at one team. Yeah, Palmer.
I'll go for mine. Begrudgingly, Phil Foden for me. 19 goals, 8 assists this season. Come up with some big goals, unfortunately. Big times for City.
Yeah.
It's his 6th Premier League. However, I wouldn't say he's been a big member of the squad in the other 4 or 5 Premier Leagues that he's been in. But this season, definitely sort of big player in the team and the squad.
I'll tell you what, Dylan, what's weird is that you've just mentioned 6 different numbers, and if you add them all together, they equal 115.
No way. Wow. Exactly.
It's not true.
Hidden meaning there.
It's
But
not
yeah,
true.
unfortunately, Foden for me. How about you boys, George?
Mine's also a City player, and I said him last week in the last step is I'm going to say Rodri. I think there's certain games where he's absolutely been the unsung hero for the club, and he's like 50 league games he's gone unbeaten.
I think it's 50 games in general, isn't it?
Well, no, because I think it was nearly 70, but Real Madrid beat him.
Well, no, they keep saying this is annoying me because they keep saying that City are on an unbeaten run of 19 games, 20 games, but yet they lost in the Champions League. I know they drew, but they lost on penalties. That's a loss.
Was Rodri playing that game?
I
don't think he was. I could always check.
Let's fact check him.
I'm definitely. I am gonna do a fact check just to be safe on that because.
But yeah, they keep bringing out this stat like Man City unbeaten in 21, 22, 23 games. They lost in the Champions League. Come on.
Whenever we do like a fact
check,
Rodri
did play. Yeah.
So there you go. They just twist the stats to look better.
It must be that they twisted the stats to just say, oh, it's only the Premier League then.
Yeah, only the Premier League. Yeah.
Or all domestic comps.
Or in 90 minutes. It's like a betting thing, isn't it? In 90 minutes only.
Yeah.
In the
future, you got deals?
I was going to go for an outside shout, Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
Because he's had his best goal scoring season, and he's the top assist in the Premier League. He's got 3 clear of De Bruyne as well. And like what he's achieved with Villa as well, just been like exceeding expectations this season. Been on fire, like with the rest of the Villa team. Been probably their main player that's been getting them the wins and getting them the goals and assists, like by the stats shows, doesn't it?
Yep, not a bad shout.
Yeah,
4 different picks, I think.
Yeah, look, you know what? I will say Foden. I will go with Foden on the basis that he did actually win it legitimately, and he did stand out. But I would say Rodri, but because someone else said Foden, I'd be more drawn to saying Foden out of everyone else.
Yeah, I feel like that Watkins fact just surprised me that he's got the highest assists, and you think about his goal scoring contributions as well. I think that's great. But Foden, yeah, he probably is the player of the season. Hasn't had Kevin De Bruyne for a lot of the season. He's been the main man, so yeah, I go with Foden as well.
Foden wins the 115 Player of the Year awards, right? Go on.
I was going to say, he's also stepped up in games where it's been a must-win for City. Sorry to bring this one up, but when they're 1-0 down against United, and then he was the one to get City back in the game.
Yeah, it's true.
Must-win game.
Yeah, and he scored 2 today.
Yeah, he scored 2 today. Yeah, he scores when it matters.
The best thing is about all this is that Gareth won't start him in the summer.
No.
Yeah.
Put Bellingham in the middle. Because they keep going about him playing in the middle, but that's conversation for later on. Probably before the Euros or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, goal of the season. For me, it's Garnacho.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't really know if you could beat that. Anyone else?
Caicedo. I was just going to be biased. Caicedo, the halfway line goal.
One today.
It's up to you, Dills.
Before I did have Garnacho, and then after Caicedo's one, I was like, nah, sod it.
Bias view there from George.
I actually don't. The only one I fully remember is Garnacho's one.
Because of how good it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I will agree. Garnacho's one against Everton was phenomenal, absolute class of a bicey. So
yeah, so Garnacho wins the 115 goal of the season. George wanted to add this one in quite late. Moment of the season. Is this a personal moment for you?
Can I just say something before we go on to this, George? Sorry. Can we add a cringiest moment on to counterbalance it as well?
Go on.
For this
Like
moment.
after good moment, can we cringiest moment?
Yeah, sure. So moment of the season. George, go on. You wanted to include this. Who have you got?
Mine was it was Man United against Palace when you were losing 4-0. And Peter Drury said a quote on Mason Mount saying, "The boy who had a dream went into the theatre of dreams and now he's having nightmares." Poetic justice at his absolute beauty. That is for me.
I'm sure he's up all night writing that, Peter Drury.
He needs to fuck off.
But actually, no, he said it during the game. That was what's beautiful.
Oh, that was pre-written already.
Yeah. Have you seen the folder he carries around with? He's got notes on everything, every single player.
Hey, so do I.
Yeah.
I bet his missus hates him. Like she's making toast in the morning. One touch of the toaster and the bread slides in, and he's like, "Oh, fuck off, Peter. It's a football game. If you want to go and do pros, go and join the Royal Shakespeare. He does my head in. I can't.
Yeah, he's been doing my head in recently.
I don't mind him.
I don't mind him either.
But I'm trying to think of good moments now.
Dills, you got a best moment of the season? The end of it?
But yeah. Actually, no, that would be my saddest moment. Best moment of the season. Yeah, to be honest.
I've got one. I'll say mine. While you think of one.
Yeah.
Hoyland's first goal for me on I think it was Boxing Day. And he scored in the Premier League, and then we're 2-0 down to Villa, 2-2, and he gets the winner.
That was so wholesome.
Just his reaction on his face, and obviously I'm a United fan, so it meant a lot for him.
Women say that men don't have emotion, but I think all United fans are welling up for him that day.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you.
I actually felt bad for him for the start because he literally had no one supplying him whatsoever.
He hasn't had no supply at all.
Arguably, that's still the case.
Still ended up with 10 goals this season in the Premier League.
Having a player that big and you play inverted wingers, if you've got a target man like that, obviously you'd play a right footer on the right wing and get the ball in instead of an inverted player who's going to dribble inwards. Anyway, but yeah, good moment. That's probably my moment as well.
Yeah, Did you got any or can't think of any?
Really.
No,
I can't think of any.
Cringiest moment then. You wanted this one, Sean?
Yeah, there's been a few. We've had the Poznan with Noel Gallagher not joining in. We've had the Chelsea players arguing who's going to take the penalty.
Oh yeah, that's definitely up there.
Oh, that's bad.
I think Rob Edwards talking to the Liverpool player and Klopp at the end of the game after they've just beaten Luton. He goes, "I used to play with his dad." I can't imagine any other top flight manager having a laugh and a giggle when his team's just lost. I just thought it was really cringy. But
I'll tell you,
ultimately, my cringiest moment would be Anthony celebrating against who was the team in the lower divisions?
Right, yes. That's that was actually going to be my one as well, because I thought he's actually got a few for me, Anthony. And he cut this shit. When he did he cut his ears in front of Coventry, who had made you look like an absolute joke throughout the 120 minutes. It's either he thinks he's he thinks he's a master of shithousery, or he's just an absolute bellend. In my opinion.
Did you see him putting that face before he come on in the game the other week?
He looked like he was like trying to be in Pirates of the fucking Caribbean or something. I just thought, oh my god, this guy is on something. Seriously.
Ten Hag is that single mum in the supermarket trying to control her kids, and Anthony is that kid that's doing the latest dance from like TikTok, or when you used to see kids just randomly start flossing or something in a queue. Like he's that fucking annoying when he does the spins, when he does the weird celebrations.
Do you remember the vine of the crack kid when he gets hit in the head with the basketball?
I've not seen this, but I need to see it.
Oh, don't. It's just, he does. I could do the voice. He's like, yeah, like that. Every time the ball hits his head, it's just like, Jesus Christ, this kid's weird.
Is that they've got the same energy?
I you know what? I actually, if you lot know the old cartoon show Beyblade, I literally call Anthony Beyblade because all he does is spin.
So just Andy in general is your cringe moment, isn't it?
He's just as a person, he's a cringe. The cringeometer has gone through the roof of that idiot. Absolute imbecile.
Fuck, it feels bad, but also good to be slagging off some of the players from your own team. It's cathartic.
You got what was it? Arteta's rant when he said about it's a disgrace against Newcastle.
It's a disgrace.
So that
you know what? The documentary of Arteta when he was talking about Thomas Edison with the light bulb, I was like, what?
I've not seen this either.
Watch the documentary of the great documentary in general, but he was actually playing "You Never Walk Alone" in the training ground leading up to playing Arsenal.
I remember that one, yeah.
And I was thinking, huh? I was like, really? Like, but it's the light bulb. He was talking about a light bulb just before a match, and it's just like this is football, mate.
Yeah. For me, cringiest moment is when United have an absolutely dreadful performance, and then Ten Hag comes out after the end in the news conference and says like, "I think we played okay, or we did some stuff good or something like that." And it's like, no, we weren't. We were terrible, absolutely awful.
It's always so refreshing to see like Big Ange, isn't it? Because he's just like, yeah, we were shit.
Yeah, so, honest.
Is what it is, mate.
Yeah. I'm just trying to copy Pep, mate. I love that one. That
yeah, I love that one. Right, and the last award of the 115 awards, surprise of the season.
I said it last week. It was Gary O'Neill as the manager for Wolves. I gave Wolves a hard time earlier. I didn't finish my statement. Basically, I was saying that they sound like crybabies with the VAR thing, but in any negotiation, you got to ask for more, and then you come to a settlement. Anyway, but just got to clear that up in case any Wolves fans hear it and give me a pasting. But Gary O'Neill, fantastic surprise. Wolves were tipped to go down. He's come in, cracking job.
I was going to say Palace. Palace's manager, Glasner.
Oh, Glasner's not a bad manager. Yeah. He's already been linked to going to Bayern Munich.
Was it a surprise that he was going to be good when he got there?
I didn't know who he was with before, to be honest.
That's a pretty big surprise then, if you don't know.
Didn't know anything about him, and then beating Villa 5-0 in the last. I know it's the last game of the season, but still beating the team 5-0. You don't really expect that from Palace. No disrespect to Palace.
Well, they beat Man United 4-0, didn't they, Palace?
Yeah, I was thinking Palace for mine, but I've actually gone for Solanke, who I thought was, not really that up to scratch as a striker and stuff. And is it Areola's coming to Bournemouth? He could have got the surprise of the season, Areola, after losing the first 4 games. But
But
Solanke
he
to get
didn't win a game in first 9.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised Bournemouth stuck with him as well. Fair play.
How do you
But
pronounce
yeah.
the Bournemouth manager's name?
Is it Areola?
Isn't that a part of the nipple?
Yeah.
That
Let me get.
is his name, right?
Is it
let me-
Areola? I don't know.
I thought it was Rayola.
Rayola.
Areola.
Yeah, areola's
West
it's a
Ham
small
keeper.
circular part of the nipple, Dylan.
Or the West Ham keeper.
So it actually it's I can't even pronounce it. I'm gonna just call him Andoni, because that's part of his name. It is Iriola, not
Iriola.
Areola. It's Iriola.
Areola.
Yeah. We could call him Coach Nipple if you want.
Yeah, so the nipple, right? He obviously joined Bournemouth. And they done well to keep the nipple on after 9 games without a win.
I'm crying. I'm sorry. You just
So
called
you're
him
just-
like that nipple name just so like, yeah, Areola. Sorry, Areola.
But yeah,
took him a
the
while
nipple
to
to
find
get
sweet.
Solanke for 19 goals. I thought it was done well. So fair play to the nipple.
Must have
Yeah.
given him a bit of a twist.
Oh, this is just gonna get worse and worse now, isn't
That's my best moment of the season.
it? That's the surprise of the season.
Don't you dare edit that out.
Yeah.
Who
Actually,
else we got?
this is a bad surprise, but Lockyer when he collapsed.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's brought me down.
I had to dampen the mood there.
Yeah.
Oh, you really just killed the buzz then.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing on the overlap? I thought was really good with Tom Lockyer, where they showed other people how to do CPR and
I did,
how to
yeah.
help people. I feel like if anyone's got 5 minutes, just watch that on YouTube because it was really good and quite interesting too, and probably will help someone if anyone does ever have is in contact with someone who has cardiac arrest.
I could put a little title card on the video to link it to that video.
Well, let's not give Gary Neville any more advertising. I think he's doing a good job.
Our 20 views go over there. Come on, they might need it.
How far into the season was it until the Tom Lockyer incident happened? It was a cardiac arrest, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, cardiac arrest.
End of last year.
So yeah, he hasn't actually played any Premier League. Was he playing Premier League games beforehand?
Well, he had a incident on the playoff final as well.
Yeah, last year he had a bit of a heart problem as well. Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
came back and had it again.
And I think he is training again.
Oh, is he?
But yeah, he's probably getting the same. I don't know if he is, but I think if anything in that case, he's probably going to get the same thing that Christian Eriksen had fitted in.
Wasn't there,
Pacemaker.
wasn't there a little stat that like anyone who has a cardiac arrest like he had, only 20% of them will survive if it happens outside of a hospital? Or so for I suppose football grounds have that much medical equipment there that he was probably lucky he was at a football pitch.
Very lucky. It was like the Fabrice Maramba one where there was actually a cardiac specialist fan on the stand,
Yeah.
and he literally saved him, which was absolutely a saving grace, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
George, have you got your surprise moment of the season to wrap us up?
Oh, my surprise season. It's hard to say, really, because there's a lot of players that came out from nowhere that have been quite a surprise. I would say Cole Palmer is definitely one of them. I would expect him to have the tally of the numbers that he provided for us. But you know what? Dominic Solanke was definitely a big surprise. But I will say my surprise for me was definitely Ollie Watkins. From being known as a finisher to having the highest assist this season as well.
Yeah, it was high assist this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had 13. Like that is actually quite poor for any player not to get more than 13 assists in the season, really, considering that we've been graced with players like Özil and Fabregas in the past doing more than that.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, so to get double digits like that, but I could even say Cole Palmer because he only had 2 assists less than more goals than Ollie Watkins. So
Yep. And Cole Palmer was second on the assist with 11.
yeah, I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna say surprise of the season is for me Cole Palmer because I wasn't expecting it to be this great.
Yeah.
Honourable mention has to be Klopp announcing.
I was about to say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
interestingly, Klopp
Yeah.
leaving. That was a
Actually,
shock.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a shock.
Surprising we didn't say that. I think, on reflection, that was the most surprising moment of the league of the season.
I was kind of celebrating it more than anything. I was just like, now Pep needs to go and we'll be happy.
Yeah. Weird part of me as a United fan. It's like, yeah, I want to be better than Liverpool. But I couldn't help having this begrudging respect for Jurgen Klopp. To be able to compete with Pep and not be able to cheat as well, and not to be able to spend as much as they do. And he did it every year, and his players bought into him. He didn't do that whole bollocking on the pitch that Pep does when he's talking to his players. It's what feels really narcissistic when he's like having a go at Haaland and Grealish in the games when he could be doing it in the changing room.
Well, no,
Yeah.
to be fair, didn't Klopp do that to Salah in the sideline before in the West Ham game?
Yeah, but
No,
not
it
to
was
the
just giving
extent.
instructions, wasn't he? It was the reaction from Salah.
It wasn't
caused
like to the extent that Pep starts telling people off on the pitch, and it just looks so unclassy.
Oh,
So
it's
I was sad and shocked to see that Klopp's going because, yeah, even though he's Liverpool and they're our biggest rivals, there is a begrudging respect for him.
That's the same feeling I had when Ferguson was announced his retirement for you guys as well. It's like, as glad as I am to see that, it's just so much respect there for what he did for so long.
Yeah, like when Vader died in the Death Star.
Wait, he died?
Well, you know,
Spoiler
Luke,
alert there.
him and Luke have that moment, and it's like, oh yeah, he dies, but then he comes back as a Force ghost. It's a bit like Ferguson at United now. He just sits there as a blue shimmer around him in the stand. Use the Force, Eric.
Yeah, he's just there with a blue shimmer getting soaking wet from your roof leaking.
You,
Was that not your
That's
shocking
just-
moment of the season?
that-
The waterfall at Old
roof.
Trafford.
that's just what that is all the tears from the away fans in the 90s being released.
Anyway, we're in that episode there. Cheers for coming on, lads.
No,
Cheers,
thank you.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me.
cheers.
Good luck with your areolas.